You know I won't girl. You send a signal, so sentimental.
You're
My
in
heart
tune to the
throbs for
Powerhouse
you,
Radio,
girl.
linking the world to the Caribbean.
The very first time you walk through the door,
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show found on the Powerhouse radio station can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
One by One Kia full range of products embodies fundamental nutrients necessary to maintain beautiful and healthy hair care without having to combine an assortment of hair care products. The One by One Kia products are designed to rejuvenate, moisturize, create shine, fortify, and stimulate hair growth while leaving your hair feeling weightless and luxurious. Be sure to visit our website at www.onebywankaya.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at One by One Kia. Let's get your healthy hair care journey started today. The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law, general legal services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to your workplace and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson firm customized legal attention based on the needs of each client while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
Well, we want to say welcome to another edition of Reasoning Thursdays with yours truly, Lady D, and Mama Acid right here on the Powerhouse Radio. So I want to say big ups to you, Mama Acid. How are you doing? Oh, we just doing the thumbs up. Okay, okay. Well, welcome, welcome. We're gonna kick it off with I'm interviewing Don Mineth on Saturday. So with myself interviewing Don Mineth, I think I'm gonna start out with one of his songs, Next Door Neighbor. And then
Ah!
and then we're gonna get down into some serious reasoning because we have a lot to cover within 1 hour. So let's touch a brief, maybe about a brief minute of Don's song because they're going to definitely get their belly full on Saturday. So, you know what? I think this was one of your favorite Mama Acid Next Door Neighbor.
You know it.
oh no, 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 no. Hey, hey, I heard a knocking on my back door late last night, wondering who could it be, giving me such a fright. Open my door say she was my next door neighbor. She said she couldn't sleep, not a peep. So she had to come over. Way look, you know, way what a thing. Way look, you know, way She said she heard some sweet reggae music coming out of my place. And if I have a little ital stew left over, she would have loved a little taste. I told her I don't drink nor do I smoke. She said no bother, take this for a joke. I just want to spend the night and leave just before the morning light. Why look, you know, why what a thing. Why look, you know, why what a thing. How could
Yes,
this
that's the
be?
man. That's the big man himself, Mr. Don Minette. Yes, and he'll be on the Lady D show this Saturday, and so you don't want to miss it. So
Think he
please,
might calling it tonight?
well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but the numbers,
Damayak, are you
the nu-
listening?
the numbers right here: 706-955-2001. That's 706-955-2001 is the number to get us right here in the studio. And we want to encourage each and every one to make sure that you like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So definitely spread the word and tell a friend and a friend and a friend and a friend and a family member. Want to say big ups to C Queenie. Want to big you up.
What's up, C Queenie?
Want to say big ups to you and thank you for tuning in with us right here for Reasoning Thursdays, each and every Thursdays. So if you haven't already, definitely go over to our YouTube page and like, subscribe, and just spread the word and tell a friend and a family member. Also share the link. Definitely share the link. The numbers right here, once again, in the studio: 706-955-2001. We want to say big ups to each and all of our listeners all around the world. For those whom is just joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome, because they may be joining us via our telephone lines at 667-930-9036. They could be joining us via our website, dapowerhouseradio.com, via the TuneIn app, and right here on Facebook and YouTube. So we just want to welcome each and everyone. So please just share the links and so on. So we thank you. Mama Acid, what is going on, my sister? We've been MIA for a little bit.
The weather's bizarre. Okay, it was 70 last week. Then the temperature dipped down and we got tornadoes,
Mm.
which really caused a lot of havoc. But we had power outages. And, you know, one of the weird things about the Midwest is that apparently when we get weather changes, it takes a lot longer for it to cross the Central Plains. And I'm really not sure if that's what causes it. But apparently, this cold snap is part of what's coming from Canada.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm glad that we are here in Georgia, in Atlanta, and Our weather is really really awesome. So I'm definitely not envying
So
you
jealous.
again. So, I'm not envying you, but we're gonna dive right on in because we have a lot of reasoning to do, and we once again invite and encourage you all to definitely call in 706-955-2001. Dante Wright, what are we reasoning on that?
Okay, I want to do a little. I want to. I want to do a little demonstration.
Okay, what's the demonstration?
Okay, let's just say
Touching of a
this is a taser
mhm.
and this is a gun. So if I'm screaming taser, 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 it should be something big in my hand, maybe a different color too, right?
Right.
Instead, I got a gun in my hand. Take a look at the size of them. Is there any way one could be mistaken for the other one?
Mhm. It definitely can't be, but
Okay,
let's
wait. I want to do it even better
uh,
size comparison. Look at that. 3 times the size. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because earlier I went to get a comparison in size because I got a different kind of a taser. My taser is not like the one that the police use. Mine is,
see. Queenie says no excuse.
she's right. Queenie, no.
Hmm.
When the taser is in your hand, it weighs about 6 ounces. Okay. I picked up my 9. My Glock weighs almost 2 pounds. I put it on a scale because I needed to be more accurate. And I really have to say to you that holding them feels different. They look different, they're a different color. So when someone screams taser and they go to their dominant side, they know it's not the taser because in law enforcement, your dominant side is where your weapon is, and your backup weapon, which would be your taser or another non lethal weapon, as they call them, would be on your non dominant side.
Okay.
In some police locations now, they have started a whole different process, which I kind of think is even better. The taser goes in the front. Your taser is in the front. So if you screaming taser, your hand better be here because if it's here, it's not a taser.
Okay,
So
but
you can't convince me that she
in
didn't know what she was doing. Plus, I want to also add in 2 other little pieces of spice to the pot. She was training the cop that she was with,
and that's what I was gonna bring up.
and she's 26-year cop with training for 15 years, president of um, the police union for that city. And in addition to that, from my understanding, she had attended warrior training. That's something that I was really trying to find out because you see, warrior training changes how cops behave when they get on the street. So, qualified immunity is one discussion that we need to have, but the other one is about warrior training and why it's allowed. Why are the police allowing cops to go out and take training as though they're military? First thing, when you go through the police academy, you're sup- you're taught you don't pull your weapon first. You pull your weapon as your last alternative.
Alternative.
Today, you see cops get out of the car. The first thing they do is unsnap that holster and put their hand on the weapon before they even walk up behind your window. Because in the police academy, you're taught to walk right directly behind the window of the driver. You're never taught to stand directly in front of the driver because you will then be the target, which is why they tell you don't do it because if they're going to pull off, you will also have more time to be able to get out the way instead of getting hit.
Right.
Now, The other part of that is this. We're going right where I want to go.
Go ahead.
Qualified immunity.
Hmm. They definitely need to throw that out the door because
Do
I
you know
mean,
that all cops don't have qualified immunity in the United States?
oh really?
NYPD got rid of it. They got rid of it in Colorado. There's quite a few different areas that got rid of it. And the reason they got rid of it was the cost of the lawsuit.
Hmm.
So if NYPD, who has been accused of being very violent, got rid of it in order to be able to stop this qualified immunity that happened after Eric Garner was murdered by NYPD. That was one of the concessions was they had to get rid of it. It was a choice between that and disbanding the police union.
All right.
Personally, disband the police union anyway.
Yeah, I think so. And
I
they,
think they should be part of the service industry employees union.
yeah.
That's what their job is, to serve and protect. So why are we training warriors? The question about this warrior training is this.
Hmm.
It counts as in service training. What do I mean? Cops have to have so much retraining a year because they have to become aware of the changes in the laws as well as new procedures. And all of these new things that happen really mean that every year, as a police officer, you have to have a little bit more extra training. Not all departments adhere to that rule. And here's another thing:
Hmm.
certain states require police officers to take a test. Some of them do it every 5 years, and some of them do it every 2 years. And I'm not talking about going to the range to requalify. I'm talking about a test of the laws that they're supposed to enforce. And if they don't know it, they get desk duty until they understand it. So one of the real issues
Believe
is
that they really get
people,
duty if they don't understand.
well, here's the deal.
I
People
don't.
expect cops to go to school for something like 6 months and to understand the Constitution. Lawyers go to school for their whole careers and they still don't understand it. The Supreme Court doesn't understand the Constitution. That's why the Supreme Court exists, for people who don't know, is because their job is to clarify what we don't understand.
Hmm. Hmm.
So issue driven policing is about to become not an outdated model, but it's becoming so problematic that you can't balance it. Okay, you got cops killing people, but they not providing any first aid after they shoot you, and their job is to protect and serve. So if they're supposed to be protecting you, A, why did they shoot you? And if they shot you, do you really want them giving you first aid? Can you render first aid to someone you just tried to kill? Are you willing to? In
I
that
just
case, then we need to ask why Chauvin is taking the Fifth Amendment, because that's a perfect question.
I
But
saw
at
that
this point,
I saw that before we went on that he was taking the fifth on going on the stand or just saying anything in regards to that.
my next door neighbor said he not taking the fifth, he taking a six pack every 6 hours.
Okay. All righty. He's pleaded the fifth on that, which is something else. So I'm just hoping that this whole trial be over like yesterday and convicted
They're working on getting a mistrial.
and given life sentence. So they're working on who working on getting a mistrial? His attorneys?
The defense. That's why they brought that guy that came and said that George Floyd could have died from the
The carbon
carbon
monoxide.
monoxide from the tailpipe of the police vehicle, which was not running at the time.
Oh. So how could it be a mistrial if because the car wasn't running, right? So
One
how
person just has to say, I don't agree. Because if they don't get consensus with all the jurors, they can declare a mistrial because they can't come to a quorum. That's why people choose
But
jury trials over a judge.
I'm hoping that the
It's,
defense will see that tactic that they're trying to, you
oh,
know,
the prosecution has already tied all that up.
yeah, I'm hoping that they're seeing that tactic and get rid of
Here's
that,
one deal though.
not become a mistrial, because if it becomes a mistrial, it's going to be craziness. It
No, if it becomes a mistrial, it may be better.
Oh, really? Why?
They can try him for more charges. There were some things that they left out.
I
Remember, we've been thinking 8 minutes and 46 seconds when it was in actuality 9 minutes 23 seconds.
okay, but for me, if
And the coroner specifically talks about the damage to George Floyd's airway from the prolonged pressure and how that damage was what that occlusion was what caused the loss of oxygen to the brain. And that in itself is heinous and
murder
first degree.
is murder, and
That's first degree.
more charges or no more charges, he just need to go to jail. He needs to be given life, and I just think it's a lot to have to put the family
It's
against
not life.
another.
It's excuse me, 10 years
Hmm.
and $200 or $2,000.
That's what he's looking at. Okay.
Same thing as that lady who shot Dante
Okay.
Watkins.
And did you see the police officers that shot the young man in Texas? And they were saying that the little guy had a weapon. 13-year-old, I think it was, the little boy.
He had nothing in his hands. They have the video and it shows nothing.
So
He
I'm
did exactly what they told him to do.
ex-
Show us your hands and turn around. And when he showed them his hands, he had nothing in his hands. And when he turned around, that's when they shot him. It was cold-blooded murder.
cold blooded.
13-year-old.
So, and then we have the lieutenant who was pepper sprayed, and he's pressing charges against the police. I'm wondering, all of this quick to draw, and quick to kill. I wonder if there's a different way that they can train these police officers instead of shoot to kill. How about shoot to wound?
I'm so glad you said that because I did talk to some people from London because I was quite concerned with what happened 2 weeks ago at that vigil for the young woman who was murdered, in fact, by the cops
Yeah.
at a anti-violence rally, anti-violence against women, and a cop killed her. That's what they out there protesting, and a cop kills you.
Mm.
Now, I was told because I did a little short interview to try to figure out the best way to approach it thought wise and also, legalistically, you need to understand the laws are different. In London, the reason cops don't carry guns is because they are constables. When a gun is required, they require a supervisor who has the power of the use of a weapon. He has or she has a different type of qualified immunity, and it is not full qualified immunity. So the cop who killed that girl, yeah, they on trial. They go into the docks for murder.
Okay.
Now, this is what needs to happen in America, in my opinion. Now, I don't know because most people are not going to agree with this, but I think that if you take the job, you wanted it. If you ain't big enough for it, maybe you need to stay home, put on your granny panties
Okay.
because there's plenty of people out in the streets that will buck because
Okay.
some of us is into them nooks. Now, if cops really want to equalize the violence quotient in America, they
Hmm.
need to give up their guns. You know why? If you use a gun as a thing that separates me from you, then why do I have to respect you? Give up the guns, cops, if you bad. Come on. Bring your little stick or, you know, come on.
That's
I'm
something.
not I'm not worried because I tell you like this. If you don't have that gun, I'm gonna hug you real tight. And then I'll take you home and give you some cookies if you're crying.
Now that's something that definitely is not going to be. I'm hoping that the callers can
Oh
hear me.
no, that's not true. That's
I'm
not true because there are cops being disarmed in America.
Well, I'm just hoping that the listeners are able to hear me now because I've been getting a lot of
Finally.
texts that you all are not hearing me. So I'm hoping that you all can hear
Hey,
my voice a little
so
bit
who
better.
told you to turn up your mic long time ago?
But to the police about disarming and stuff like that, it's hard for you to say for the police to be for police not to have their weapon with
That's not true. That's
all of
not true. EMS drivers don't have a weapon and they have a badge and they serve and protect.
that's it. They serve they EMS goes and pick up bodies and take care and all of that. We're talking about
You
police.
know what their real duties are?
I have I'm not going to encourage that. I'm not going to
No, I want to explain it to you because I think this is important for people to hear it.
of them not.
And I think I qualify since I went through the police academy in Detroit.
And sometimes I wish you would just let me finish my thought and then you can go on and you could speak and then I can speak. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry.
But what I'm saying is you have persons out there. You have persons out there whom are dangerous. And you have persons out there whom are walking with all of these heavy weapons, all these guns, and they're shooting at police, they're shooting civilians, they're shooting each other, and they're going crazy. So when you use the example of saying an EMS, the EMS is, yes, they may carry a badge for something else, but that's not directly their line of duty to be there to protect the citizens of the United States of America. So to say they should not have a weapon to protect themselves or to defend themselves or to defend the citizens who need defending, then I don't think that's right. I think that proper training is something that is needed. I think that when something when they mental training,
Mental training.
mental observation, and
No, they need to have exams to find out if they balance before they
whatever
give them a weapon.
whatever it is, as long as they are getting the proper training, I think that is something that is completely necessary. But to say that they should not, they should put down their guns and what they're going to do is put down their guns and stand up there and then shoot pop, pop, pop like that with their hands. Come on, acid.
Okay, I want to go back to the history of policing and why
Go
cops and guns don't have to be in the same
policing, they're
car.
chasing the slaves and they're doing and all of this stuff. We know the history. So we're not going to go directly in the history because we only have
That's not where I was going.
make it brief. Go ahead. Go ahead.
After World War II in America, when a lot of people came back from Europe and there was a lot of lynching going on,
Mhm.
most police didn't carry guns in local police departments. They had the state police and the county sheriffs who had guns. Police were there to sort out needs that were more social. So you didn't see police going out shooting people because they didn't have access to these weapons.
Mhm.
That came after,
Then
because during lynching, they needed to be able to stop people from murdering people. So that's how local police got guns.
see, Queenie says proper training can be given, but if your mind is set a certain way, what then?
Exactly. I'm with her on that. That's why I say they gotta have some psychological exams.
Have to have psychological evaluations being done, not just when they're about to um um become a police. I think it's a process that has to be done all the time. I think it's a process that has to be done all the time. Quarterly psych evaluations because of what they see, the trauma sometime of what they see. They just to walk up and see this bloody scene is traumatizing, to these cops. So mental evaluation, I think, is a definite must. And to picking on your statement, then policing and now it's two different things. Gun is everywhere. Everyone has access to these weapons. It's not like
in America.
then, not just in America. I mean,
No, it's not like this in a lot of other places. I'm just saying, I'm just talking about in America, because if we compare, like I was just talking about London, after that girl got killed, and when I talked to this guy, he explained to me why they don't have guns and hand them out in the UK. And it makes sense to me. Everybody is not properly trained to handle it, the responsibility.
Properly trained, and I think everyone, when they're being issued a permit and able to get a gun, they really, really need to do some psych evaluation. I don't mind.
I think they need to do some better background checks and stop hiring so many bullies too.
And background checks, and then sometime, as a matter of fact, don't they do background checks for when you're going to become a police anyway?
Not in the same way. Some places you could have been a police officer somewhere and been fired, and they'll never check and see. That's part of the reason why we ask for a national police registry, along with right-sizing police budgets.
Okay.
We're not saying take away their budget. We're saying fund the other things in the community that need fundage, like social work, social programs for housing, medical and mental health needs. We don't need to send a cop when someone is having a mental breakdown. We need to send a social worker and EMS.
Exactly.
So if people fighting, here we go. Let me ask you now. People fighting outside your house.
Yeah.
You hear them arguing and screaming at each other, a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You call the cops, but if they black, do you have to think twice before you decide to call the cops because they might kill the people? Or even worse, is it possible that maybe if the cops get called, the situation will end up being something that should never have even gotten to that level? So how do we do community policing now when there's no good apparatus for mental health care for everybody? Police are handling mental health calls more than anything.
You're definitely gonna have that apprehensions of picking up the phone to call the police, because of the fact that you are going to have that thought in the back of your mind that, Lord, suppose I end up calling these cops and they end up killing the persons. And
I'm not calling the cops on black people. White people, yeah. Black people, no.
That is one of the apprehensions that that's one of the guilt, not apprehension. That's one of the guilt that the young man, even in the George Floyd case, is feeling to this day, is because he was like, okay, it was just $20
store clerk.
And and it cost the death of this man.
Also, George Floyd friend, same thing, because he took the fifth and won't testify about it either.
Okay, all righty. Well,
he said he's terrified because the cops are actually, they know who they are. They're intimidating them. What do you do in a case like that? Remember what Aubrey's mother said? She said, I had to wait from when they killed my son all the way until the spring for them to arrest the killers, and they had to take, and they knew exactly who did it. Why did it take so long for them to do the right thing? That's what she said. Why did it take so long for them to do the right thing? That still sticks on my heart.
I think forever we will be asking why. They just do. that's what they do to us. That's just what they do, and it's sad,
Yes, sir.
but that is what they definitely do, So back to what C Queenie said. C Queenie said training, but if their mind is set that way, what then? So what then?
There was a study released that said that law enforcement does not make your community safer.
Definitely not. Well, we could see that because they seem to be some of them seems to be a problem, because we're not going to say everyone is a problem. All of the officers are a problem, but it's too many that are a problem. So yeah, you don't even feel safe anymore. You don't know who to call. You don't know what to do, you know,
I
because
call Fannie Lou Hamer.
definitely afraid. You're definitely afraid of the police. You're afraid of the gunmen. You're afraid of everybody. I mean, like,
Hey, you know what? Somebody said to me the
uh,
other day, they said, you know what? We know you live by yourself. I said, wonder why all these bad people around here always be trying to mess with y'all, but they seem to ignore me. And the person said, everybody know you live by yourself, but they also know you don't live by yourself.
okay, well, I like to be the element of surprise. And I'm glad nobody who knows who I live by myself or don't know when I'm living by myself and don't know what I have and what I don't have. So I'm glad everyone says, okay, Lady D house is full. Elements of surprise. All righty. Well, with these, well, we just have to continue to pray for our brothers and sisters. And
What about Joe Biden's gun bill? That's what should pair with that. What
yeah,
about that?
I think the bill is okay. I think it needed to go a little bit further.
I'm with you on that one. But I think it's time for we to make it a nationalized discussion where people are saying, okay, we got all these guns. And notice it didn't become a discussion until black people started buying guns.
Yeah, but it's still an issue. It's still an issue, and it's still because all of these other stocks, and I don't even care if it's been an issue. It's an issue because black people, we've been buying guns. It's just that now this year, with all of that's going on, we went to the excess of buying guns. But I think that it needs to go a little bit further. His bill, and but I
It should
understand.
require background checks. I think it should require psychological exam. It
Yeah,
should require a criminal background check. And it should require 72 hours before you receive a weapon.
yeah, I definitely think that.
Because I
I
think the 72-hour rule would prevent a lot of these mass shootings like the one that happened just 3 weeks ago. Because the guy bought the gun and 24 hours later he went and killed a whole bunch of people.
But that's where
Didn't
they're
even know how to unload the gun.
did that young man have did he have a license?
Texas don't need it.
There should be so that's definitely an issue because
Texas is one of the states where they say you can die thinking that you're gonna take my gun. When I was in Texas, one of the things I used to really like was that it was all these places you could go and shoot. Like on Friday night, you can go and throw axes. You can go to different places and go shoot. They used to have places where you could buy a 6 pack of beer and get a case of shotgun shells and go right out in the back and go and shoot for an hour for $5. I did it many nights.
all right.
I
Well,
also did the axe throwing. I like that too.
we know right now Texas is one of those Republican states, and they're
It's
not.
not just Texas.
And no, I'm just saying it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
a battle for you to even talk about gun reform or gun laws and stuff like that over there. And I
Can
think
we laugh for a second?
you can laugh real quick, and then we're going to jump from there because I want to touch. Go ahead and laugh, and then we're going to touch something else. Go ahead.
How funny was it when the guy who was a cop that was up there involved in the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol got turned in by his wife, and then he got the nerve to go on Facebook and say he mad at her. Tell people unfollow her. She's a snitch. She turned in her
That's a,
husband. Good work, white lady. Good work. Stop them insurrectionists.
that's what we need. We need more
She
persons
did it
who
for America. That's why I'm giving her a
we
hand.
definitely need more persons whom when they see wrong things happening that they need to address it. So yeah. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I'm all for them having if you have to
And
tell
and
yeah.
one other thing that's just kind of two edged that really kind of hit me hard last week.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of through with TMZ. I mean, I used to really not like them, but I like really despise them now for the way that they treated DMX, and also for the fact that they tried to cover up the fact that he had a heart attack. Fentanyl actually caused him to have a heart attack, and he didn't breathe for 30 minutes, and people at his house didn't know what to do. They were trying to get the police to come and get him for 30 minutes, and TMZ, they made it like he didn't have a heart attack. It's like
You're
he
breaking up
just
as
they're making him seem like he was just a drug addict.
with
You
TMZ.
know, I find that they do that to a lot of people that are black. They always stir up problems for black people. And I didn't like the way I'm not a big Kanye West fan. I think everyone knows that I'm not big on Yeezy. And I don't like the fact that they dealing with people's mental health the wrong way. They don't say anything about white people mental health, but TMZ is always saying that black people are crazy. They say black people are homicidal, suicidal. They said that Kanye West called Kim Kardashian's mother a white supremacist. Maybe, but should you have repeated it? Why would TMZ find so much success in denigrating people of color? And I'm gonna say this Jew to Jew, Harvey Levin.
Is that
Why?
is that not their job to report or to they're a tabloid. They're a tabloid that is on TV and that is basically what tabloids do.
Why
They
they ain't talking about these white men beating up these white women, these sports players? Why they not talking about
I don't think if we're going to just single out TMZ, let's just all the media because I haven't been hearing about these white football players or any really white person is
you
being
right? You
out.
you own it. You own it.
I don't see where none of them is being called out. Everything that melanated skin people do is called out. So I mean, like we are scrutinized in every way that there is possibly to be scrutinized into.
Okay, what about the whole thing 3 weeks ago? We was talking about Sweetie and Quavo because of the TMZ tape. Now let's talk about it this week in a little different way, real quick.
Okay.
Sweetie was trying to snatch the bag back out of the elevator. Do we know what was in the bag? At this point, we still don't absolutely know. We have some guesses as to what was in the bag. That was the bag. That was his stuff. It was money and all kind of stuff in there. So think about it this way. TMZ made it seem like Quavo was literally attacking Sweetie. Now, I don't condone what went on between them because I'm not into violence, but he certainly didn't hit her. All he did was grab her and take the bag back from her, and she fell on the floor in the elevator up against the back of the elevator. I didn't see him put his hands on her other than to grab her and try and stop her from taking the bag. I didn't see him hit her or anything. But one thing I will say is that I've watched all her videos, everything I can find, and everything I can find is all about her being a businesswoman and how if somebody ain't coming to her with a bag, the date, don't need to come to her at all. So I just want to say, as a woman, that's, that really bothers me. It bothers me bad
Okay,
because I don't
okay.
want people to think they could just treat me anyway because of a bag. I got news for you. I got my own bag. I don't need yours, baby, and you can forget about trying to get mine.
Okay,
Me and Lady D is the women who got them bags.
real quick. Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown needs to have some real serious therapy. I'm worried about Bobby Brown, and I like Bobby Brown and it's my prerogative to like him. I like Bobby Brown because he's a good dancer and a good singer. I'm really sad that he believes that Nick Gordon killed Whitney Houston and everybody else in his family. Because I understand that he now saying that Nick Gordon has something to do with Whitney Houston's death. So Nick
Well,
Gordon wasn't even in LA from my understanding when Whitney Houston died in the bathtub. I think he'd be better blaming it on Ray J.
well,
I think Ray J might have been up in that bathtub and tearing it up because Kim Kardashian made us aware of the fact that he
then
come like Rhoda Rooter.
I said maybe he's not talking directly. Maybe he's not talking directly of him killing her per se with his own two hands, him being there. And
He's saying that he brought the drugs in.
okay, and that's an indirect. That may be an indirect way.
But I don't think that Nick was involved with Bobby and Whitney when they were up in a bathroom smoking all that crack.
Well, we definitely know that, but there was a time when remember Bobby and Whitney wasn't together for many years, so you don't know what took place at the time between Nick, Whitney, and Bobby Christina. So
Bobby Christina was a little girl, and I don't think Nick was much older than her. So I ain't seeing no 10-year-olds going out to the crack man.
Okay, but you don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm saying I ain't seen no 10-year-olds going to the crack
We
man.
haven't seen, but we don't know. We don't know what is his reasoning behind that. And I think that when he was being interviewed, it should have been asked, what is your reasoning behind that? So that way he can, if he made that statement, to be given the chance to explain himself in entirety as to why he feels that that is what happened.
He's still slinging back at her mama. He's still slinging back at Miss Sissy.
Okay. Anti-trans bill. Why you get quiet?
I want people to understand that we cannot determine other people's sexuality. I can't tell you who to like.
No.
And I'm not going to try to tell you who to sleep with. And I don't think you need to do that with me either. So for me to think that all these men, these old white men, and these white women, I don't want to say what they are, but they white women too. They're the ones who are saying that trans people don't deserve rights. How can you say someone doesn't deserve rights? How do you know that you're not trans? That's the question right there. How you know you're not trans?
But before,
maybe they came out yet.
I see Misha says he was, as far as Nick is concerned, within in the
Hey Misha,
as that is concerned with him having the part in the death. But all righty. I think the anti-trans bill that we have here on the list is for the boys and girls. It's
right, the kids.
Okay. I think I'm kind of I'm not on the fence with it. I'm directly on one side of it. And I just think that a child that is I'm 8 and 9 and 7 and 10-year-old, it's too early, I think, for parents to be having them to make permanent changes of their bodies. Now, when you're
I
18,
agree with that.
you're
I'm not
18
going for that.
when you're 18 years of age and things such as, and you decide as an adult to do what you choose to do with your body. But I think with such as the fragile mind and still learning, and I understand that we have feelings because right now adults themselves are confused.
Absolutely.
Adults right now is themselves are confused with their sexuality, much less to have a 7-year old and to make that decision of having a complete sexual having a sex change.
I don't think
You
they
understand? I
should.
think I don't think that they should do that. Wait till they are 18 years old
Let
and
them
let
do it.
them make that choice at that time. And because you are considered to be an adult at the age of 18, but I think that it should even go further than 18. And I think that some serious evaluation should be made before you alter yourself, because there are a lot of individuals that have made that choice of altering themselves, and then when they do that they regret it.
That's
and
like the intersex people.
and you have others who, yeah, they're fine with what they've done, but you have some that are doing it, and then, you know what I'm saying, because right now adults themselves are confused. A lot of
That's the discussion about intersex people. That you can't call them a man or a woman. What do you do? They're born with both organs. Who has the right to decide which one to cut off?
say that again.
The intersex people. Oh yeah, it's true. It's big like a roto rooter. I didn't heard it.
As Mama Assis
I
said,
heard Princess had to have a post baby makeover.
they said Mama Assis said they said Ray J thing is big like a rotor rooter. Is that
I said it because I mean I saw the tape with him and Kim
I didn't even
Kardashian. It
think
was
about that.
disgusting. I
Okay,
only watched a few minutes.
we have Berlin says, I agree. Children experiment when they are growing. Exactly. And we also have another comment from Elinda, 21 should be the age. And exactly, because I even think that the 18 years of age is too young as well. You
Because
know,
your brain don't really start being totally functional as an adult. They say your brain plasticity at 25 is still not set. They say when you 30, that's around the time that you start really becoming either male or female or know who you are. I don't know. I know I was forced into it early, to decide how I wanted to see myself like everybody else, because I don't understand how people can decide, because in my brain I don't see how I could be anything other than a woman, because I mean I'm a woman physiologically. So for me the gay quandary has always been like very confusing. And then I have like relatives that I've talked to and tried to understand, and they've spent a lot of time, I mean, very patient, some of them very kind, because one of them told me, you really shouldn't say this to anyone else because it's very offensive. Because one of my female relatives has pretty much looked like a man almost all my life. At one point I was confused because I thought she was my uncle. And they told me and my family, they said, she's different, but she's just like us. So don't treat her no different. She just might look a little different. She just like us. And so I asked her, I said, well, why do you look like that? Why you don't wear no dresses like mom and them? And she told me, because I ain't that type. She
okay.
didn't say what type she was. She said, I ain't that type.
Well,
And
I'm
these
super
are people
straight.
from the
I'm
South.
super,
So when you
well, I'm
see
super
this,
straight.
what can you do?
The numbers right here is 706-955-2001. That's 706-955-2001. What do you do, Asset?
I learned to just treat her nice and just be grateful that she's in my family. And when I see people that like I'm not sure, I'll ask them, what's your pronoun? That's what they say you're supposed to do today. And then I'll also say, what's up, friend? Which is neutral. And people like that. And I also call people human beings.
Okay. Okay, we do have a caller on the line. Caller, how you doing? Hello, caller.
Yes. I
Could you turn down your radio in the back, please? We need you to turn your radio down in the back.
can't turn it down.
We also have on the screen here, Berlin says, I was a pre-K teacher for 30 plus years. And she says, I see children experiment with dolls, etc. Okay, that's until the caller. Caller, go ahead. Let me see if I can. We're hearing a lot of feedback from you. Hello?
Okay, I just have one question, a statement that I just read, and
Okay.
I wanted to get Mama Asta's opinion about this statement.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Caller, go
And
ahead.
the statement says, we live in a world where trained cops can panic and act on impulse, but untrained cops. Hello?
Yes, we are here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It says we live in a world where trained cops can panic and act on impulse, but untrained civilians must remain calm without gun in their face, with guns in their face. What's your opinion about that?
Don't work like that for me, sis. And if you really want to know the truth, even after going through the police academy and working for a very short period of time as a police officer and seeing that I wasn't suited because my temper is not one of those temperaments that's meant to be on the street. My temperament is a little too hot to be out there riding around with a gun because I have I have to be honest and say that I have an emotional condition that prevents me from being able to moderate my anger. So after many, many years of training and understanding, I am now able to do that. But previously in my 20s, I was not. And that's during the period of time that I would have been a police officer. And I'm going to say this, there's plenty of them out there on the street. They mad when they leave home. And when they get to work, they even more mad because they got to be at work and they're going to take it out on the community. They're not there to serve and protect. They're there to get that paycheck. And my feelings about it, quite honestly, if they're not there to serve and protect me, don't approach me because I am not approachable, not even mildly. I'm not even mildly friendly. I was told that the other day when I went into a supermarket by a cop because they have police at certain supermarkets up here. And the police officer looked at me and he said, how you doing? Like, and I was like, because I got on a mask. I'm not saying nothing to nobody. I'm really not trying to breathe your air. I didn't say that to him, but he could tell by the look on my face. I said, oh, I'm all right. Have a good day. And I walked away. He said, you really not friendly, are you? I said, and neither should you be. That's honestly my feeling on it. When police in my area, they know that I'm not the one to stop and talk to because the first thing I'm going to be doing is auditing you. I'm going to be paying attention to what you're doing. And if you're not conducting yourself in a certain way, I may very well decide that I need to intervene. And if I intervene, it's not going to be nice. And I have intervened. I intervened recently where there was an incident on the corner of my street and they wanted people to be all quiet. And this one white cop going to get out trying to act like he was somebody from another cartoon. And I was standing there and the black people were the ones who car got hit and it was an Arab guy who hit him and the Arab guy was out there acting a total lunatic. So the police wanted to take the white guy's side because they didn't know what happened. I said to them, do not decide guilt or innocence. Your job is to take a report and data and file that so that their insurance companies can handle it. And he looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "Exactly what I said, what you heard. You know exactly what I said, and I'm going to talk to you like a supervisor. Do the PCR and leave. It's more calls coming in."
Okay.
No, I'm not friendly. I'm not friendly with them. I pay them. They're my employees, and I treat them like that. That's why you shouldn't be friendly with them. An
But
old proverb my mother used to say, if you
okay.
put a puppy in your lap, it will lick your mouth. All dogs stay on the floor around me,
Mhm.
and I don't have them in my house.
So how and I what the caller was asking as well is how are you as a civilian expected to remain calm
I'm
when the
not.
bullet's in your face?
I'm assertive.
We can't it's impossible for you to remain calm, especially when you're a melanated
Let
skin.
me also give you a secret, not to talk over you or to cut you, but I'm going to give you a secret. Police don't mess with people that they know are as strong as they are. The reason that they don't is because they know what's on the other side of that crazy face.
Yeah, but
And they don't want it. They don't want that smoke, baby. Most of them scared. That's why they got the gun, because the gun is artificial courage.
I can't even agree
I
with
don't need a gun. You're going to wish I had the gun because that prevents me from knucking.
okay. I
Because
don't
I'm ready for you. I want to feel your blood. I want to take your blood pressure just like
there was
this.
a lieutenant whom they pulled a gun on. I mean, he's in the
He
uniform, he's
did
as
everything
strong
he
as
was
they are.
supposed to do, which is why he
He,
is going to get a bunch
yeah,
of money from his lawsuit.
yeah, and you know, he's when you say they don't mess with people because they think that you're not as strong as they are, or people whom are stronger than them. Well, you had someone who was in a uniform, who was tased. I mean, pepper sprayed, and forced to lay on the ground in a
And
uniform.
told that he could be riding the lightning, which is a death threat.
Okay, so I mean, before we
What would
move,
I have done if I was him?
one moment,
I've thought about that.
before we move on with that, Berlin said we had a child in one of the classroom. All the teachers said he would be gay because of how he acted, and he became normal as a man. And then there was also a lot of people wouldn't get away with that is a comment from Berlin as well. And then we have maybe it's because you are legit is what they're saying. And then from Olivia says, Lady D, I want to hear your response. Okay, and Berlin said skin. So we have those coming through. And my response as to how do you remain calm? You can't. There's no, you automatically, when we're driving down the road, well, when I'm driving down the road and I'm driving and all of a sudden here comes this cop behind me, this police car, before the lights even go on, you're starting to say, oh Lord.
You feel it.
You feel it. You start to feel the anxiety.
It's microaggressions.
You that they're going to pull you over. First of all, they didn't even pull you over and the light's not on. But
that's microaggressions.
But to feel that they will pull you over, and then when they do, your adrenaline worse starts to overflow, and you get nervous, and you're like, okay, here we go. Now what's next? And imagine me being a woman, and I'm apprehensive of being pulled over by a police officer. Then what do you think about our melanated skinned men? Whom are being, not that us women aren't being treated in some form of way like our melanated men, but they face it, every day. And it's so much more aggressive, even more aggressive to our melanated skin men, that of course they're on the defensive as soon as it happens. They're afraid. They are really, really afraid. And so that makes them nervous. And inside of them make them want to run. Hell, when they come to pull me over, I'm like, Lord, let me make sure. Do I got my seatbelt on? You're fidgeting. You're trying to do everything to remain calm, but you can't remain calm. So it's unexpecting. I think it's unexpecting of law enforcement to expect you to remain calm with a gun in your face. And I think that more officers should be given training as to persons what would be the right word for me to say,
How not to be microaggressive towards people that you're trying to get questions answered from.
exactly. We have another. Okay, hold on. We have several comments from Berlin. Sometimes it's the shade of your skin. Ooh, okay, so we could get into shades of skin, and then we do have Olivia said, I agree, especially since what is going on now, and that is it, because our black men are being targeted left, and I think
Dante Wright and I were close to the same color.
targeted. Also, Sandra Brown says, I saw a video where the police was harassing a man and he pulled out a flag and they backed off. Why? And what does that flag represent? Okay.
That's MAGA.
That's what?
MAGA.
That's flag?
If you carry an American flag in your car and the police stop you and you act like you MAGA, they let you go. That's an old trick.
Okay, so what's a MAGA flag? What does that look like? That's
just carry a regular American flag. Say, look, I'm a patriot, just like you. Wave your little flag.
Okay.
And say, you be careful now.
Okay. That's interesting. That's real interesting. I didn't know that. So I need to walk around. I need to go get one of those small little flags and start waving.
If you have one on your car, it also kind of works the same way too.
Okay. That's very interesting. That's very, very, very interesting. Okay. Sandra, I'm hoping that answers your question as to what that flag is. That flag,
it's like their flag from their club.
But what is MAGA? Because the flag was red. It wasn't the American flag, then asked.
No, it's the MAGA flag. They carry this Gadsden flag that looks like the American flag, but it doesn't have that many stars on it. It has 27 stars for the original Gadsden states. So that flag looks like kind of like an American flag, but it has the 27 stars instead of the 50. So they recognize only the slaveholding states on that flag. And if America's 50 states and 27 of them were slaveholders, that's why they consider themselves to be the true Americans. We should have a class on that one night, because I'd love to talk about my experience with that little piece of history.
MAGA flag. So it's just a red flag with some type of stars or something on it.
It's got it looks like the American flag. Some of them are red around the outside, but it has the 27 stars on it.
Where does these MAGA flags come from? Is this something?
Most of them come from China.
Is it something that goes along with the Donald Trump era?
Yes. White supremacists carry different types of white supremacist flags, and depending upon what area they're from, they have different flags that represent different types of organizations. In Michigan, there's this Michigan Wolverine flag, which is it looks like the state of Michigan flag, but in the middle where the seal would be, they've replaced the people who originally were on the flag with the Wolverines, and they're holding guns, and then they got the 27 stars around it. So wherever you see these different militia organizations, they have their own flags, and a lot of them call them battle flags because they don't come out with their flags often. They come out to show who their organization is, and they try not to flash them unless they are going specifically someplace to represent. That's why the Wolverine militia flag was not seen up there on the Capitol, even though there were a bunch of the Wolverine militia up there.
Okay, okay, okay. I
Also, the Oath Keepers have their flag, which is real deep. And then the Nazis have this flag that's red and it has lightning bolts on the white background in the middle of the flag.
mm,
And then there's that the Antwerper flag. I can't say the name correctly. I get it messed up all the time. It's a white nationalist flag from Rhodesia that is red and it has Nazi symbolism on it and another type of a figure in the middle. I'm not sure what it is. It could be what's his name's face, Philip Rhodes.
okay.
Cecil Rhodes, it could be his face, but they have a lot of those flags, and the Afrikaner flag is real popular with them. They carry that Afrikaner flag and that Rhodesian flag. They carry both of those. Also, a lot of people haven't noticed, but there's the black hand thing going around.
What black hand thing? Wait a minute. What's the black hand thing? What's that acid? Oh,
Okay,
before we even go to the black hand thing, Berlin said, I guess she said something served his country, and then she said my guy was a veteran. So I guess she was speaking of. I think Berlin, you're talking about the veteran, the lieutenant. I'm not sure if it's the lieutenant that you were,
exactly.
the officer that who got pepper sprayed and all of that. But what is that black hand? What's that?
Okay, the Italians had a flag in Sicily that had a black hand on it called Il Morte. And so the hand looked like this, but it was black. And the fingers were separated. So because the fingers were separated, they stood for the 5 different Sicilian families that were involved in the mafia. So they took a variation of it to Germany because the Germans had their own version of the mafia. Most people don't even talk about this. But anyway, they ended up working with the Rhodesians and also the Belgians. So the Belgians used to cut off the hands of people who didn't work hard enough in the Belgian Congo. And they used to take the hands and they put them in boxes and send them back to Belgium to the king. They send the hands back to Belgium to the king to prove how many people's hands they had cut off. They started making chocolate hands and selling them. So now Easter time, different times, if you go to some European chocolate shops and you see those chocolate hands, that's what they're for. And then you saw one that the gypsies had, which was a protection society because there were some Roma from Italy who were murderers. They worked directly for Il Morte. They had it too, but theirs was different because it was the other hand, and they also had the all-seeing eye in the middle of it. So a lot of people see it and they think of it as Wajid, but it's not. It's not Wajid. It's a symbol specifically of these Romas that used to go out and take people out, and they was bad. I mean, they didn't leave nothing. From my
What we
understanding, they didn't even leave air at the site. They were like the killers of killers. And so the Italians used to work with them a lot because they could just go everywhere because they're Roma, and the Romans were always told, don't come here, don't come here, don't go here. So they were wandering all the time. That's why even now in England, they still try to break up the Roma caravans. Here in America, they call them gypsies.
yeah.
They say they fortune readers, they palm readers.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So if you
really?
see that sign, look at the color of it. See if it's got an eye in the middle. You know they killers. You can go in there and take out a contract. But if you see this one, you know you better run because they probably coming to get you.
Ooh,
Left and right hand.
okay, so the one hand represents
The
what?
Italian mafia families,
Mafia family, and one hand represents
the Roma, who used to do all their dirty work and murder.
for them. Okay. All right. Well, we learned something. I guess Sandra brought us from the flag into learning more information about But
Oh,
hey,
I left out the most important part. Oh my God, I left out the most important part. What
yes,
is wrong with me?
we
I'm
have
getting
Sam.
old, y'all.
We
I
have Sam.
learned this when I was in Italy. This, these people learned to do all these murders and all of these tactics and stuff from the
Yeah.
Moors.
Okay, I've heard more. Wait a minute. Sandra says, Mama Acid, I would love to sit with you just to talk. You're very informational. Well, that's why we have Reason on Thursday, and you can call in and you can
Yep.
sit and reason with Mama Acid. You just got to turn down your radio in the background. So big ups to you, Sandra. Man, I'm telling you, this is
Yes, Andrew, thank you very much. Please call in and talk to us.
yeah, this is some interesting thing. Information that we're getting. You was gonna say what?
Oh, the part that I left out was that the Moors were sanctioned by the Catholic Church. That is the hand of Jesus. The five saints, you'll see it when you go to the Vatican. It's there. The five saints.
Okay.
That's the hand of Jesus. And so they talk about the the guards, the Swiss guards who work for the Pope and for the Vatican.
Uh-huh.
The early ones were all black. They were all Moroccan. That's why they dressed the way that they dressed. They didn't convert to Catholicism. They were Moorish and they were Islamic, but they were hired to guard the Pope because they were the best assassins.
Interesting.
That's also why the Spanish hate the fact that the Moors actually taught them everything they know, including how to take a bath.
I think one of these reasoning Thursdays we're going to have to get deep into some of that as well. Sandra says I heard about that one, but they was dangerous.
Very. They did not play. When they had that Reformation and them Catholics thought they was just gonna run over there in Spain and they was gonna just take over from the Moors. Ooh, baby, I'm telling you like this. The Catholic Church they could not afford the assassins. The Moors just finally said, look, we done killed almost everybody. We'll leave now and go back to wherever we're going. Because they never triumphed over the Moors. You cannot. This is the thing that gets me. Morocco and Libya, side by side. Why is it that no one ever considers the people in Libya and Morocco to be the same? They're black people. These people in Libya and the people in Morocco are the same. Okay? One group is dark, one group is light. All right? The dark ones are the ones that always get dogged out. Gaddafi's people, the Libyans. And speaking of the Libyans, did you know that just last week they finally caught the guy who was conducting the slave sales in Libya, selling to people on the internet for the past 3 years?
Okay, and now since you
You know who turned him in? You know who turned him in?
turned them in.
His wife.
Well, since you're talking about selling, there's an article that I had received. I'm trying to pull it up where they had some students. I'll just say that. I'll call
That's
them
Texas.
that was selling online black persons.
White students. Make sure you say that. The white students had conducted a
Right.
slave auction on Snapchat.
For from $1 to $100. Sandra says, and you don't know whom they are, how they get there, etc. Okay. That was Sandra's statement there. But selling, even in this time, in this age, 2021, you have white children putting black children up for sale on the internet, and they're selling. And they were
Wait. You left out the best part, though.
go ahead.
The
What's the best
principal and the people at the school said they were just pranking. It
Yeah.
was just kids' pranks.
So they
It
feel
wasn't a hate crime.
so they feel that it was okay. Yeah. Yeah. Serious. Okay. All righty.
So if some of those black kids were to form them a Denmark VC or a Nat Turner group
It will be something.
and go down there and decide to reenact that.
It will be
So
a
you want to sell us? Well, maybe we'll do Nat Turner then. Next week we'll have Nat Turner.
yeah. Next
We'll
week.
see how they handle that when all the black people show up, and if they come out of their house, they get shot.
Now
We could just all dress in period costumes and stuff. I'd be glad to go. I got a little couple of head ties. I think
okay.
I could make it happen.
I will have you elaborate. MP in Jamaica beats a woman.
Oh Lord.
Oh, we have half an hour more. We're going to go all the way up until the 9 o'clock bell. MP in Jamaica beats his wife, or the girl whom they said that he leaked. It's alleged that a video was leaked, and Parliament itself just lets him go. Don't no consequences, no anything. If these are the things that's happening in our house that governs a country.
Matt Gates took some girls to the Bahamas and paid them to have sex and do drugs. And that's happening in our house of government too.
Government. So if
You
these,
got one, I got one.
if these things are happening in our government, then why is more expected of civilians?
Inquiring minds really want to know the answer to that.
Inquiring minds want to know why they are being allowed to get away with the atrocities that they are committing on persons.
So here's another question. Why do we look at people who smuggle people and who smuggle money as being less criminals than people who kill people?
Why?
I really want to understand that because it's becoming very obvious that Jamaica is a transshipment point for people being smuggled. It's very concerning to me. I haven't spoken about this before openly because I didn't really want to bring that type of a scrutiny, but I think it's time that we start discussing this. People are not just disappearing in Jamaica. Women are not just disappearing. They being sold.
Yeah. And that's why I even touched all of that with the being sold for $100 to $100. I mean, they are picking up our women left and right, not just in Jamaica, all around the world.
They doing it in America too.
Women are being
Trafficked
and trafficked all over the world. And it doesn't seem like anything is being done about it, or any. I mean, it's not a hot topic. And that's the sad thing about it, is that it is not a hot topic. And I think that every week, if it allows us to, we need to make it a hot topic.
I'm with it. I think we need to start talking about this stuff more because women are, well, we need to talk about them figures too. How many women are on the planet versus how many men, and actually the birth and death rates, because quite a bit of that has a lot to do with it. I really wanted to know, though, more about the whole Caribbean smuggling problem. And I've started to asking different questions than I previously asked because I asked questions based upon fear before. Now I'm not asking that. One of the things that I'm really, really starting to become more aware of is how they trafficking women from island to island to island. Now, this is something that's not new. It used to happen all the time, like people would snatch people from Trinidad or Puerto Rico or, something like that. Well, Last week, it was a story that came out about a woman from Haiti. I can't, in my mind, it just has me in someplace altogether different. She says she left Haiti with some people and they were going to Cuba. When she got to Cuba, they told her, don't get off the boat. We're going to keep going and we're going to go someplace better. She stayed on the boat. They picked up some more people. Then they kept sailing and they sailed through the Bahamas and they went to one of the smaller islands out in the Abacos with the Eleutheras, because it's 300 Bahamas islands. I wanted to know why. If you don't know where it is, how you going to tell somebody else where to come rescue you from? Same tactic they used when they stole black people from Africa. Sell them here, sell them there, sell them here, sell them there. Don't tell them where they at. Just take them someplace and leave them there. And they have to stay there because they ain't got no papers. They don't know nobody. They don't know the language, nothing. They are literally prisoners.
Mercy.
How did they get out?
They don't.
Thank you. One woman got caught smuggling drugs because they told her she had to fly with these packages, and that when she got there, that the people she was going to meet, they would give her some money and she would be free. They flew her from the Bahamas to Florida. Where did she end back up? Haiti. Banned from traveling to the United States again. She had no paperwork. She had nothing. How did she get there? On somebody else's papers. Well, who produced those papers? This is the same thing we've been talking about for a while now about all this counterfeiting that's going on. And
Yeah.
people are not paying attention when we talk about this counterfeiting because they counterfeiting documents like never before. It ain't about money no more. People don't. Money is like the last thing they counterfeit. They counterfeiting documents. They taking people's lives literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why is our government not talking about this?
That's serious. That is some serious business. I want to say big ups to my big sissy Linda, my big sis Queen. All of them is tuned in. Want to say big ups to you all.
Big up family.
My family listening. Lisa. I want to say big ups to my cuz. Just each and every one that's listening. Want to say thank you for listening. These are some serious topics that are reasoning that are going on. And just keep it locked each and every Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on
Coronavirus, COVID, vaccines.
That's where we're going right now. We're going to coronavirus vaccine.
I got that face, don't I?
You have the face. Johnson and Johnson.
Nip. Devil, I rebuke you. Go away from us.
In the mighty holy name of Jesus.
You know it.
We rebuke it. Now, what was disturbing to me about this whole the entire vaccine situation is Blossom. I want to say big ups to you.
Big up Blossom.
for Al Pacino, big ups to you. I want to say with all that what disturbs me with the entire vaccine situation is how they keep on saying it's only 5 people, it's only 6 people. Do you really is American people that naive that you would think that you will halt a vaccine to be given in all the states for 5 or 6 persons passing away? How naive do America think that their citizens are that they halt, just breaks right on for 5 persons whom passed away from blood clots.
Blood clot.
I mean, like, really? Really? How can there's no way that America is going to halt giving vaccine for 5, here goes that hand, 5 persons. And persons are believing that is true.
Okay, can we really talk about the biggest boo boo that they made like 2 weeks ago that just literally made me I had to shudder in place?
Go ahead.
People down in Louisiana, they don't realize how there are certain types of testing labs around the country. Certain populations are considered testing labs. If they can't get rid of certain things, what they do is they put a drop call out and say, we have vaccine available 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll be gone by 5. So people who are looking for it, they go rush and they go and get it. Now, Louisiana, they said, we have Johnson & Johnson available, 1 shot. And guess what? We'll give you a fish dinner after you get your vaccine. So come on down and get your dinner too.
They did not.
Get your life and get your dinner. That's what they said. Come on down and get your life and get your dinner too.
They did not.
Yes, they did. I'll send you a video. It is so upsetting. Just like she said, they can't make the powder right, so how they gonna make the liquid? That's the reason why they had to shut down that plant, because they got things that were supposed to be in one tank in another tank mixed with things that didn't go with them. If you don't have quality control, how are you having manufacturing? Then here's something else that really hit me hard. It's hard for me to even say this.
Okay.
The versions of the vaccine that we're getting out here is not the version that they tested on people in prison. And they're not releasing any figures on what's going on in prison. So, Michigan, which has a high, I think it is the highest in the country right now, they are shutting off the phones at the prisons and detention centers at the private ones, because the ones that are state run, they can't do it. But the private ones, which are 80% of prisoners in the state of Michigan are in private facilities, 80%, they are being used for testing. So they're not letting anybody talk to them, and they're not letting them talk to anybody, and they're not giving out any information regarding the COVID stats within corrections institutions. Now listen to this. If people are locked up and they're not going outside of that institution, why would they be exposed to COVID? How would they get exposed to COVID?
All right.
I know you know the answer. It's real simple. The
Stop.
people who coming in, bringing it in because they work there, and they're giving it to the people who live there, not by choice. So if you cannot monitor a system closely enough to prevent the system from collapsing on itself due to your inability to manage it, why are you still calling the system? Why is it still receiving money? Why is it still continuing to do this? Well, that's one thing. We
Yeah.
saw so much going on in St. Louis last week. This is the 3rd or 4th riot they've had since December, where they tearing out 18 windows in a row across the 6th or 7th floor windows in the jail. The jail is a tall jail. Okay, like 10 stories. Like They build them like apartment buildings. They just stacking people on top of each other.
Yeah.
The prisoners got so angry because they can't get court dates. Some people have been held in there for a year without even being going to court and have been subjected to having COVID more than once. Could you imagine having COVID twice?
While being incarcerated. It's bad enough on the out and open, but imagine incarcerated.
I asked somebody in prison, what do they do when y'all get COVID? The person that had COVID, they said they put us in seg. I said, they put you in seclusion? He said, yeah, they don't take us to the hospital. They give us some aspirin and some hand soap and sanitizer, and they put us in there by ourselves. I said, so if you die, what happens? And they said, well, we die. And people have died in prison here in Michigan that the prisoner I was speaking to knew. They were young, some of them. So when you hear these types of things coming out of the so-called justice system, do we need to be questioning why these cops are rolling up on people and just shooting them when 24 hours a day you turn on television and the one thing you see is people of color being brutalized in every possible way? Financially, we make almost nothing. We can't get fair housing. We can't get good medical care. We're locked up in jails for crimes that we didn't commit. We are always on the bottom tier of everything. Yeah, ibuprofen, exactly, because it exasperates the situation and causes it doesn't allow the spikes, the protein spikes, to break off. And if it doesn't damage the protein spikes, coronavirus continues. That's why they say use aspirin instead of ibuprofen.
Mm-mm.
I'm tired of reading about COVID.
Me
I
too.
mean, I'm even talking to people in other countries about it. People in Africa. I talked to a lady in Kenya the other day who works at a clinic, and she told me that what's happening is the people in Kenya are saying, we're not going to get this disease because this is all about white people. Why should we be taking this white people's medicine that they want to send over here and test on us? No, we remember when they gave us all HIV. You got countries of people saying they're not going to take it. Look, the president of Tanzania died because he did not take the vaccine and he got sick, and he told everybody else to drink these particular um, vegetables and herbs that he was taking, and he died. And there are people who are dying because they want to take
Your
something,
phone
but
is
they don't know
breaking
what
up.
to do.
Mm-mm.
And then there's people like me who won't take anything. I was going to take Johnson and Johnson, but I'm not taking it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
you were breaking up for a quick minute there, Acid, but that's sad. Okay, Sandra says, but ibuprofen is the first thing that they give to the African American inmates.
Horrible.
But we have
Multi-spectrum.
to we have to also understand that there's an agenda. There's an agenda to get rid of X amount of persons in the United States or around the world. You know, Acid, you're freezing. Talk, let me see. Okay, you move.
No, I was just sitting here thinking about them non-steroidal anti-inflammatory disease drugs that she was just mentioning, and I just thought about that for a second. You know what? It gives people heartaches too. I mean, heart attacks too.
Mhm.
Destroys your kidneys. It gives you arthritis. Why are we still taking ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen.
I don't take it.
Ooh.
I got rid of all of it in my house. I threw it out.
I definitely don't take ibuprofen either. Um, okay. There goes another statement from Sandra says, but I also heard the oregano Oregon is good to drink as tea. Oregano is good to drink as tea. I think that's what Sandra's saying.
It probably is because it's an anti-inflammatory for real, just like sage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of really good stuff that we can pull out of our gardens and we can really learn to work with it. I started growing feverfew when I moved into my house. It was one of the first things that I threw out there, and people said, "That's a weed." I said, "Okay, if you get a fever, let me know, and I give you some, and we'll see what it do." I personally used it. I made salve from it.
Yeah, yeah,
I really admire Queen Zephyra because she is taking that time to familiarize herself more with the replacement, and she can pull them right out of her brain. Like, don't take this, use this.
yeah,
Queen
and
Zephyr, shout out to you, my sister.
yeah, and Zephyr is going to be starting her program next month, and Miss
Ah,
Daniel Medicure daughter is going to be from 6 to 7, and from 6 to 7 on a Sunday, and following the Medicure daughter, we're going to be. It's all about love, nothing but love. Let me give a quick rundown, and then we're gonna go into um some one more of these with Sandra statement up here, and also with alternative medicine. And be sure to join us, the Powerhouse Radio, all the fantabulous programmings right here. You definitely have Reason in Thursday on the Thursday, like right now, each and every Thursday is from 7 to 8. Sometime we extend over as we're doing today. And that's from 7 to 8 each and every Thursdays. And then, Wednesdays, you have Let's Gripe with Tonia, McKenna, and Marcus on a Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. with Let's Gripe. You do have Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion on a Saturday morning from 8 to 10. Then you have the Lady D show from 12 to 4. And this week, we're interviewing Don Minett. And so make sure that you are definitely in tune to that this Saturday at from 12 to 4. And also Sundays, we have All About Love, Nothing But Love on a Sunday evening from 7 p.m. up until the 9 o'clock hour with myself, Lady D, Blossom, and Cool G. That's each and every Sundays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. All about love. We give colors and the whole 9 yard of it. You need to join us. And then on Mondays, well, Tuesdays, we're going to be starting the kids way. And you got Lolo, M Queen, you got Bite Size, you have Ellie Bear, you have Tavi, you
oh
know.
my God.
Yeah, it's all the kids' corner, so they be doing up their things on a Tuesday night. So make sure that you check it out. So it's all about the powerhouse as we continue to add fantabulous programmings right here. Also, please like, share, subscribe so you know when
Subscribe.
and share, please. Share.
Repost us.
Even if you tell if they say, well, I'm not gonna listen, say we don't care if you don't want to listen, just subscribe and share. Okay? Just subscribe and share. And big ups to all of our persons listening via the telephone line 667-930-9036 and our website www.dapowerhouseradio.com. And once again, the call-in number here is 706-955-2001. Sandra said is good for people with COVID, the oregano. And want to say big ups
High
to
in high in
my big sis
vitamin C too.
Linda says, good night, my little sis. Much the love, family. I love you, Linda. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And thank you for listening in and tuning in right here. Good night to you as well. And Acid, what were you going to say before I kind of sort of interrupt there?
It came across my mind about the whole discussion of Harry going to Prince Philip's funeral.
Okay.
So the discussion came up about if it was appropriate for Meghan to come.
Of course, I think it would be appropriate for Megan to come. That's her husband. That's her husband's grandfather. You know,
That's her grandfather.
that's
She
who?
married into their family.
Yeah, that's her grandfather. So it is appropriate for her to be there, and for whomever questioned that is A9s, and it's that's just silly of them to even question that. You know. Uh
Also,
huh.
they claim that she, let me see, how did they say this? Sharon Osbourne, we talked about this couple weeks ago. Sharon Osbourne says she's not black. So Sharon Osbourne got fired from the talk. When the talk resumed, Sharon Osbourne had been texting Cheryl Underwood.
Well, Cheryl says she didn't receive any text from her.
Cheryl says she ain't got nothing to do with it. She said, when this all started, they began telling the other producers that Sharon Osbourne was racist and that no one listened to them. No one listened to them, even after Juju Chang said she called her slanty eyed.
Mm.
She called Eve and I forget the other girl. Oh, Holly Robinson Pete. Ghetto. Holly Robinson Pete? I can see you calling Eve ghetto. She one of the Rough Riders, even though she a millionaire. I just don't understand how these TV shows stay on the air for so long with so much visible antagonism between the co-hosts, and they coddle one racist in order to so-called prolong their marketability and the, I guess, the saleability of the show to that particular segment. So I think they're starting to understand now that people don't want to see that. Ain't nobody ain't got time for that.
Hmm.
I mean, does it make sense that people would tune in to watch somebody being insulted by an old English racist woman who
Well,
is so far off track about what's going on day to day in America,
well, they
making opinion calls?
well they do. I mean, like they do.
The show didn't lose any followers. So what did Sharon bring to the show? What did that prove? Because they didn't lose any followers, that maybe Sharon really for a long time had held them back. Because quite honestly, I think their numbers going to be phenomenal now.
Okay. Well, we'll watch their numbers, but people, you, people like controversy, and and you have lots of racist people that just that watches those particular programs.
Hey, Megan McCain got shut down last week by Whoopi Goldberg, which
Megan,
I have been waiting on to happen for the longest because she just finally looked at her and said, "Are you finished? Are you finished?
yeah. Well,
Go to commercial." That's
yeah.
what she said. Are you finished? Are you finished?
I
Go to
wanted
commercial.
I wanted to touch one more thing before we go. Besides, giving them all these racist talk, but our children with school, and I was reading an article that was sent to me. My daughter sent it to me. In North Carolina, there was a school teacher whom um, is a high school basketball coach, and he was just killed in a gun battle with the Mexican drug cartel.
Yeah, I saw that.
This
That was
is a
terrible.
school teacher, and they went to rob. Him and his brother went to rob the Mexican cartel's drugs at their stash house and got caught. A teacher. what type of background checks are being done for these individuals whom are teaching our children?
Curiosity. What about his financial situation? Are
Situation.
they being paid enough? Are they getting living wage? Do you know that most teachers in America now make about $40,000 a year? Who can live on that? If you're a teacher and you got to pay all the bills in your house.
That's for some persons that's not a lot. And you for no
That's
one,
not a lot for
for
anybody.
no one, that is a lot. But you do have persons that even living off of $20,000.
I lived off $20,000 and it was difficult. And I paid my mortgage and everything. But I'm
To
saying you don't have much of a life. You
but
have
that's
no
that's
disposable
not an
income
excuse. But that's not an excuse to go out there and to do
and
what you're
commit murder or robbery.
doing. And imagine if they had came for him during school hours, putting our children in the line of fire. And I think that if when you're doing these type of work, you ought to think about the consequence. I mean, what can happen? The person's lives whom you are
Right.
in the line
Connected with you.
of fire. Because you're a basketball coach. You could have been driving some of these students home. All of those things. I mean, I just it's not a great relevance, but I just wanted to put that out there
That's
that
something.
this this teacher here decided to go rob and get killed and could have put many children lives at risk. Man, I'm telling you, it was a fantabulous programming here today. I'm asking, well, every
Hey, don't forget, mentions that guy in South Carolina.
who?
There's a racist in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina. He's a master sergeant in the army. And yesterday he decided that he was going to push a young black man who was one of his neighbors and threaten him. He did it
Oh,
on camera.
I forget to touch that
And
one.
he ended up getting arrested earlier today. He's also being investigated and possibly will be court-martialed by the military. I think he should get they should just straight up hit him with the universal code of justice, military justice. Just give it to
Racism.
him.
The race
Give him an Article 21, whatever.
rate I when you think that it can get better, it seems to only get worse.
No, but wait a minute. What did he think was gonna happen when the people showed up at his house and they standing upstairs in the window? Look, I'm excited now. I'm sorry. I sat there and watched for an hour and a half on the live feed. I watched. I gave them $5 towards the Domino's pizza because they were out there and it was hot. They had water. Look, the news crew came. Do you know how stank the police are? They sent in an infiltrator to get pictures of people's license plates, and then the people who were out there protesting, they saw him doing it. Did they not immediately get him together? They got him right together. They sequestered him. They got the camera, and they said, "Now you want to do what?" All I can say is them young black people that were out there in front of that man's house and they were saying, "Hey, come on out. We want to talk to you. We want to make you famous since you want to be famous on YouTube. We want to make you famous. Come on out. The news is out here. We want to just talk to you. Come on out. We got water and pizza. Come on out." They were out there begging them to come out. They rolled up the blinds and looked out the window. The police were around the corner, marshaling up, getting into their flak jackets and their posturing so that when they came around the corner, he thought they were coming to take the protesters away. The protesters were already in their cars leaving off the street when the police rolled up to his house. Some of the protesters stopped and actually observed what was going on and they live streamed it. I saw the live stream when the police went up to his door. It was all dressed in black military style policing garb. They had guns. And you know what? Do I think they need to have guns when they went to his house? Nope. What do I think they should have had? I'm going to tell you two things I think they should have had.
Go ahead and then we're going to sign out.
They should have had a black mother and grandmother combo first. Wait a minute. One with a pocketbook and the other one with a strap.
You freeze it.
And then the other thing they should have had
Uh-huh.
was that young man and his family with a whole row of national cameras behind them so they can film his reaction to all of these people. Because quite honestly, if he did not apologize to the young man and his family, I would say first let the mama get in there before you let the grandma get in there. Cause see, I'm already happy. If you let me get in there, it won't be nothing left. I'm gonna go on straight on in. I'm gonna throw the purse down and I'm gonna grab him because of the way he shoved that young man and broke his phone. I know that he doesn't understand his strength. So maybe he needs a demonstration of someone else who don't understand her strength.
Okay.
And I could just be out there just as crazy as he was and screaming and saying, "Oh, do you live in my neighborhood? This is a very close-knit neighborhood. Why don't we know you? How long have you been here? We need to get some special people over here to watch you because we know now you're not the kind to live around us." And when these types of incidents happen and you live in a gated community, the homeowners association should be required to terminate your lease and you should be required to move because that is a civil rights violation. And you know what? Civil rights violations in HUD finance properties like that one, that's illegal.
Okay. Well, we're gonna leave on that note. We're gonna leave on that note. Next week, because we didn't get to touch that's on our list. I wanted to, and that would give you a little bit more time as well, and myself a little bit more time as well to read up a little bit on what she's not necessarily one of my favorite person, but some of the rant that she did this week, it was it was true. A lot of it was true.
Who?
Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty.
You go ahead and watch Miss Kitty. I'll watch Wendy Williams, okay? We'll each get us our own little tray of cat crap.
He's talking about why it is always a big thing that when you say you don't have a man.
Wendy Williams ain't got a man and she back on drugs, they say.
Okay, well, we're going to touch those next week, but we're going to go back with COVID next week.
And don't forget, throw Spice in there too.
We ain't going to do too much on too much of them. I think enough with Wendy and enough with Miss Kitty. It's going to fill everybody's stomach up with all of the other reasons.
Okay, you're right.
That we're going to have next week. So we just want to thank each and every one for joining us. Mama Acid, you want to say something to the listeners before we go?
Happy 100 days, Joe Biden. We got our eyes on you and we know what you're doing. If you don't get rid of the filibuster, we know where you live. Major and Champ can't protect you. We got lunch meat. We'll throw it through the bars.
We didn't even
I got dog biscuits.
Next week, we need to touch the troops leaving Afghanistan. So because we didn't
go nowhere.
We have so much. We have so much to talk about. We have so much to reason on, and we want to reason with you all, our listeners, and we want you all to participate like you all are participating right now. We appreciate you all. We want them phones lines to continue ringing 706-955-2001. We're asking if you all can once again share, like, subscribe, and just encourage each and every one to come on over here because we have some deep reasoning that we are reasoning on right here. 706-955-2001 is the number. And if you know persons that don't have internet, tell them dial in on the telephone. They continue to get
Yes.
calls. Same way they get their phone calls, 667-930-9036. Also, the website at www.dapowerhouseradio.com. Be sure to join me Saturday, 12 to 4 p.m. as I interview Don Minett. Check us out. We're going to leave out with Don Minett's song. But before I go, I once again want to encourage each and every one, wash your hands, sanitize, social distancing, wear your mask, and all of the.
And don't be racist.
And don't be and don't be racist, as Mama Acid said. Leaving out with one of Don Minett. He says, cry blood. Love you all, Berlina, Sandra, Linda, Olivia, Nisha. Thank you all, C Queen. Thank you all for joining us.
They can't disappear. So what happened to the sufferer share? For the crumbs they must fight, while the privileged few still holding tight.
This reminds me of Mikey Smith.
Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood.
Big up CQ, Queenie. Love you,
Big up, big up.
False prophets, the people's demise. Some still waiting for their pie from the sky, sky, sky. While the finer things on earth are simply passing them by, by.
Oh man, that is truth right there.
Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood. Stress, the poor man's closest friend.
Yeah, we need to talk about mental health next week.
We need to talk about mental health right now.
Of insanity as the system destroys their very being.
Oh Lord.
Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood. Black souls rise, crying out for mercy. Black souls rise, crying out for justice, justice.
I know that's right.
Black souls rise, seeking equality. Black souls rise, yearning for peace, peace, peace. Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood. Economics, working class people in a state of panic, panic, panic. They can't disappear. So what happened to the sufferer share? For the crumbs they must fight, while the privileged few still hold it tight, tight, tight. Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood. Cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood, cry blood. You're so beautiful,